If this is your first time visiting the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit that notifications bell. That way you know when I post my videos. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the content on the channel.
Probably one of the best movies. Actually, that's a understatement. It is the best cinematic movie ever in history. My mind is still blown away. Let's dive into the details of Avengers Endgame.
Whatever it takes.
So I went into this movie completely thinking that I was prepared for this. I was not prepared at all. I don't think any of the Marvel fanboy and fangirls were prepared for this movie, and the expectations were superseded than what we thought our expectations were supposed to be. I went to go see the movie on the 26th, exactly when it came out, and lines were packed. I mean, I live in the Columbia area. If you guys know where I'm stationed, I stay in Columbia, South Carolina. And me and Alex, we went to go to we went to Sand Hills, and the lines were ridiculous. We had like literally two lines that were going out and toward the parking lots. It was just crazy. This is a world global phenomenon, guys, that is bigger than what we think. And just the fact that this movie has done billions and billions of dollars in box office just within the weekend, that is massive. Like, that is massive. I can't wait to see what the final numbers are going to be. Um, but we totally went into this movie completely thinking that we were prepared, and we were not prepared for what the Russos and Marvel and what all the actors and actresses had in store for us. This is something that was a true treat to the Marvel fans, and for the simple fact that um, that these movies have been going on for a decade, over a decade, guys. 22 films, a long tapestry of incredible superhero storytelling that the great Stan Lee, rest his soul, would have loved to seen everything like this come to life. And thank God he lived the life that he lived, as long as he lived, just to see all of most of these characters that he and Jack Kirby created come to fruition in real life. But when we went to go see Avengers Endgame, it was, man, I can't even, I almost can't even put it into words. I'm actually still kind of shaking just thinking about it because how awesome the movie was. I'm trying, this is going to be a talk on um, just the movie. So don't worry about spoilers, okay? Before we get into anything, don't worry about spoilers. I would do a spoiler video later on this week, probably tomorrow or the day after. So make sure y'all guys stay tuned on the channel, my Moto 690 channel and my official 803 channel to get the juicy details on the spoilers of the movie. But right now, let's just talk about a review of the movie. I can tell you right now, on a scale 1 to 10, this movie is a 20. It broke the scale. It's definitely everything that Marvel and the Russos and everyone has been promising us all these years. It's a great, great, great storyline. The characters are they're a game in this movie. And Thanos is he's kicking ass in this movie. A lot of y'all guys are wondering how Captain Marvel was used in the movie. I love the way they used Brie Larson and Captain Marvel in this movie. It wasn't um, she's definitely OP. She's definitely OP. She's very overpowered. But they used her at the right moments in the movie, if you know what I mean. You know, she's not just always just constantly there. She's there when she's needed, if you know what I mean. It's very, very, very um, it's almost poetic how they use her in the film. Now, as far as like the story arcs of Captain America and Tony and all the original Avengers, we definitely get all the arcs, everything that has happened from all of their movies, the trilogy movies, everything has come together where their arc ends in this movie. And the Russos done a beautiful job displaying and showcasing exactly how these characters come to an end with their arcs and where they're going, and if we may see them later on in the future of the MCU. So we have multiple things. Let's start with the obvious. Let's start with Captain America. As you guys know, he had the Captain America, the First Avenger. He had Winter Soldier, and then he had Civil War, and he came back in Infinity War, and now in Endgame. So he had himself a nice little run of arcs and storytelling of him, and his storytelling at the end of Endgame was very beautiful. How they set up the end for Captain America. Um, I will say I cried. I cried so much in this movie. I was not expecting to cry. Uh, I was expecting to cry of excitement, which did happen, but I wasn't expecting to cry over all of the other stuff, all of the emotional things. And man, guys, let me tell you, this film is very emotional. You will you it's crazy on the scale of how emotional this movie will make you feel. There's certain plot lines and uh, certain details in the movie, certain things, certain cameos that you'll see that just really brings tears to your eyes due to excitement and due to just the emotional feel. Um, and it's just great, especially when you come over to Thor's arc as well. He is Thor is quite hilarious in this movie. If you guys have not seen it yet, that's why I don't want to spoil it. Thor is very hilarious. Chris Hemsworth is he's a great comedic. Like he really does a great job making people laugh. And the way they use Thor in this, because you know he's angry, he's depressed as well. He's going through a lot of emotions. He's on his God period, if you know what I mean. You know how a female has her period every month. He's on his God period. That's what I like to call it. He is very emotional throughout this movie, but he is the Thor that we've been waiting to see. Like a lot of the stuff that we saw in Ragnarok with Thor, with how he displayed his powers, the Russos did a wonderful job displaying his powers to the max in this movie. It was absolutely incredible of how they captured Thor's powers and just the special effects, the CGI. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. 10 out of 10 with that. And with his story arc, you really get to see Thor grow into the God of Thunder. Like I know Ragnarok, we had like a whole bunch of other story arcs with him and a couple of twists and turns with Thor. But this movie right here, the Russos solidified him as the God of Thunder. And it's great. I mean, Chris Evans, hopefully, there's been talks of possibly a Thor 4. I'm not sure. You know, Chris Hemsworth did say that he would be down to do another fourth film for Marvel and maybe sign another contract or something like that. So it's a possibility we might see Chris Hemsworth come back in other future MCU movies. Bruce Banner, I will say, guys, the Hulk is man. The Hulk is man. He's awesome in this movie. As we all know, we get Professor Hulk in this movie, and there is, I'm not going to explain it, but there's a time in the movie where Bruce actually explains how him and the Hulk are basically one. So it's real cool to see his story arc happen, even though we can't get a standalone solo movie with the Hulk. As we all know, the rights are still with Universal. With that, hopefully Marvel will get the rights back to that so they can do a standalone Hulk movie. Maybe hopefully in the future we'll get that. But Hulk has, in my preference, Hulk don't really need a standalone movie. If you look at all the Marvel movies now featuring the Hulk, he's had a story arc that really pretty much tells his story. He's one of those characters that doesn't really need a standalone movie because his arcs tell a story of his own. And if you put all of them together, it can be a movie itself of what Bruce Banner and what the Hulk has become. You literally see the evolution from the very first Hulk movie to where he is now. Um, as far as Hawkeye, aka now Ronin, he is man. Barton goes down a dark path. That's all I will say. He goes down a very, very, very dark path, and a lot of us were expecting this. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but he goes down a very dark path, and the way his story was captured was very heartbreaking. I literally cried, dealing with seeing what Clint has gone through. And we all know Hawkeye hasn't really been getting a lot of screen time, and Jeremy Renner, he also announced that before, that he doesn't get enough screen time as well. But this movie, he gets a lot of screen time, and his story is very, very, very sad. So fair warning, when you do go in with don't go in with a faint heart. Go in with you might have to harden your heart a little bit if you're going to go watch this movie, because it will make you cry a lot. I cried at least 3, 4 times, maybe if not 5 times throughout the movie. Um, and Black Widow, oh man, wow, her storyline is wow. You guys are going to be completely excited to see what goes on with Black Widow and her character development, and how much of a stronger female character she has become in this movie. She definitely solidifies her legacy as a superhero, or as a hero in this movie. And I don't think they could have done anything better with her character. I think they did a great job with her character, and I love to see where they would take her character later on in the future, especially for women out there who are very strong, and who are feminists about having women as a awesome, strong um, force in movies, women roles in movies, and Scarlett Johansson delivers that 120, 150%. She delivers that in the movie, a strong female character that really solidifies her character as Black Widow as a top notch tier character. All the other characters get some screen time as well. Of course, the people who have been dusted, they get some screen time as well. But this story really just focus on the main co-founding members of Avengers, or the main core members of the Avengers, and it's a great job. Like, I am still now, guys. Like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how awesome this movie is. In my opinion, I would literally say this movie is hands down the best cinematic movie in history ever, ever, ever. And I mean that. I honestly mean that. Nothing else can top this movie. A lot of people say, "Oh, The Dark Knight Rises, Christopher Nolan." No. Oh, all these other monster movies that's come out. No. None of that stuff compares to this. Marvel is on their A game. They are doing an awesome job with these movies. They have had over basically 10 years, a decade of building a huge tapestry of awesome superhero movies that we have been longing to hear. We are in the age of superheroes, guys. Do you guys remember reading comics as a kid? You got the golden age, the silver age. That's the age we're living in right now. We're living literally in the age of superheroes, and it's not going to die out. A lot of people are saying, oh, these Marvel movies have superhero fatigue. Yeah, superhero fatigue exists, but the form factor, the formula that Marvel is using works, and it doesn't get old, because a lot of people want to go back and watch these movies all over again. They want to be able to relive and tell that story all over again. They want to be able to understand more about these things and see more. And that's the one thing I will say about these movies. Marvel is, they're not done. That's the thing. They're not done. There's sequels. There's another phase. We still have phase 4. We still possibly may have phase 5, phase 6, because phase 1, 2, and 3 is known as the Infinity Saga. So if they got 3 phases, you gotta think about it, guys. It's almost like a trilogy. You know how you got Star Wars, you got, the Phantom Menace, the Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and then you got the originals, right? Okay, that was a trilogy, and then we got another trilogy. So it's like 6. So imagine what Marvel is going to do with this. They already have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 with all of these movies all being tangible together. So imagine what we're going to get next with phase 4, 5, and 6. Multiple movies all together, tangible, creating a vast and an awesome movie history, movie archive of just just awesome storytelling of superheroes. And I mean, I may be old. I might be an old man with my girlfriend, my wife, and kids, and maybe their grandkid. I mean, my grandchildren. Who knows? Like this is gonna go on forever. And a lot of people don't understand that Marvel has Marvel has took the world by its hand, or should I say hands, and say, hey, we're gonna give you something special. Like we literally have the world in our hands, and we're gonna give you something special, and that's what they're doing, and they're giving that to us. And I'm absolutely, I'm just, hey, it's like I said before, it's a wonderful time to be alive, and it's a wonderful time to be a Marvel fan. And I honestly, I cannot complain um, of where Marvel is going with this. DC really has some catching up to do. Definitely, they really have some catching up to do. Anybody else, there's nothing else on the planet that touches this. And Marvel, they just keep delivering, and I can't wait to see all the other sequels of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, um, and Black Panther 2, and Captain Marvel 2, and Spider-Man, and all these other movies that they come out with the internals. It's going to be great. Um, but back to the movie. It's definitely a 10 out of 10. I definitely recommend going seeing it. Um, don't go in thinking that you know everything that's going to happen, because you're going to be completely surprised of what happens, what's going on, all the cameos and Easter eggs, which is something else I will be talking about later. Guys, so much goes on and goes down in this movie that makes you rethink everything. And it's mind boggling, because no one knows what else is going to come after this, because this movie changed it. When the Russos and Robert Downey Jr. had that interview and they said this movie completely changes everything throughout the course of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're not lying. That was them telling the one truth, because you know they got to cover up certain things, but that is one statement that is absolutely true. This movie sets the foundation of what future Marvel movies are going to be, how epic the proportions are going to be in the next forthcoming movies. So prepare yourself, strap your seatbelts on, and just get ready for an awesome, wild, trippy ride of adventures and action that Marvel is getting ready to produce for you guys, because it's about to be crazy. So with that being said, guys, if you haven't seen the movie, go see it. You will not be disappointed. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 20. A 20 broke the scale. Awesome. Acting was great. Action was great. Story was great. Just the all around visual effects and the script writing, everything was perfect. And the fact that the Russos can do something like this, something as magical as this, Marvel needs to lock down the Russos for directing further movies like forever. They are Marvel and the Russos are they're like they're like God. They have the power to do the incredible, to do miracles with these superhero movies. So definitely go see the movie. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that like button as well, and also make sure to follow both of my channels, Moto6 Sanity. I'll put a link down in the description so y'all guys can go click on it. Also, I got a secondary YouTube channel, guys, which I call the Official 803 TV, where I talk about multiple things like Marvel, DC, Star Wars, The Walking Dead, anything, guys. I talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Anime, if y'all guys are a big, huge anime fan, I love anime. I talk about a whole bunch of stuff on that channel. So if that's something that you like, make sure y'all guys go and click on that description, or click on that link that's down in the descriptions. It's the Official 803 TV. I have it in bold, so y'all guys can go click on it, subscribe to the channel. This video will be uploaded to that channel as well. And I guess that's it. So like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Brandon, and I'll catch you guys next time on the Heroes Vote. Peace out. Avengers, simple.